Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today we're going to go over a kind of equipment and farming guide with this triple event going on. I know I've done one for the 2x event. You can see that video above, but I wanted to do a really quick crash refresher course. So the first thing I want to touch on is the equipment gear and how exactly I do equipment farming. Now, I am in the end game, so I am farming T5, T4, T3, all those different sets of gear, but you can apply this to no matter if you're a beginner, middle, or end user. Let's do a little bit of a recap. The gear that you're farming is always one step removed. And what I mean by that, if you're going for T5 gear, it'll also drop T3 and T2 gear. If you're going for T4 gear, it can also drop T2 and T1 gear. If you're going for T3 gear, it can also drop T1 gear. So you can see how there's a little bit of low overlap, right? Where each of the different steps can also get some of the previous as well. Very rarely will you farm the T2 gear, but there are certain use cases where you're going to have to do that, and it kind of sucks a little bit, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at our equipment real quick. So how I go about farming. Now, most of my students are already farmed. Now, if you are new or middle in the game, the thing you're going to want to do, I'll come back to that screen real quick. You're going to want to farm hats, gloves, and boots like no other. And the reason I say that is that a lot of your DPS, as you're going through here, are going to require hats, right? Gloves, hat, gloves, boots, gloves, right? So you get the point, right? So if you're in the middle to low end tier, you're always going to want to focus that. Yes, you need watches. Yes, you need bags. You need a bunch of other things as well. But that's going to give you your biggest bang for your buck for moving through the campaign and a lot of those other bounties and commissions and everything like that. And I'll show that off in just a second on where you farm that. But my methodology and how I farm gear as an end game player, I look at all the gear I have. So let's look at our hats, right? I'm missing a lot of T4 hats. I have a decent amount of T5, so I'm probably going to want to farm a little bit of T4. I'm missing some T4 gloves, and I'm missing some T4 boots. So that's very indicative that I'm probably going to spend 2 days farming T4, where it's also going to give me T2 gloves and boots and hats, which I don't really need, but that's okay. Looking through the rest of my gear, I'm missing a lot of T3 bags and T4 bags and T5 bags. So what I'll probably do on that one is I will farm T5 bags until I get to 100. The baseline is usually you want to keep all your equipment at 100 or above, all the way across the board, with the priority being the DPS spots and the bags. Speaking of that, if you want to support this channel, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I also have all my links in the description down below. You can come follow us on our Twitch channel, you can come support me on Patreon, any of those good things. And let's get back into it. If we're talking about it, so let's start with hats first. And this is for if you're a low game player to end game player. This is the one you're going to want to farm. Now, these are T5s, but they're always going to end in ones. So you see you have hat, gloves, and boots. This is the one to farm. This is the legit one to farm if you have to equip a lot of different students. Now, if you need to go down to T4, you're going to go down to 10-1. And you're farming, you're going to see you have that hat, you have those gloves, you have those boots, right? That's what you're going to do. And then vice versa, if you're going down all the way to T3 because you need to T1, you're going to do the same thing. Now, if you do have to go down to T2, right, you try to avoid this as much as possible, but you can farm 4-1, but that's really a waste of your resources. You want to try and get that through some of your other farming methods. Now, let's talk about my second favorite farming spot, which is actually 14-2, which is right behind 14-1, which is 14-2. Now, you typically want to farm, you want your farm to be on the left-hand side. Like if I was farming watches, you want this to be as close to the left as possible, but you always need hairpins for a lot of your different students as well. So I farm a lot of 14-2 for hairpins and watches. You're probably going to want to farm 14-4 initially for a lot of watches, but you're going to want to switch on over the 14-4 because you're not going to need a lot of these Darumas, and you're not going to need a lot of these patches, right? There's not a lot of students that use it. So 14-2 is going to be your main one. The same thing's going to apply. So that's for T5, right? We're going to go down to T4, right? You're going to have that watch. You're going to have that hairpin right there at 11-2. And the same thing still applies where you go down to 7-2, or sorry, not 7-2, 8-2. And then you have the hairpin in the watch and all that. And you get a little bit of necklaces. So it's a really good bang for your buck. Now, if you're looking for bags, which There's not that many tanks in the game, so there's not a whole lot of bag farming you have to do. But if you are looking for bags, the one I would probably farm is 14.3 because it does get you watches and it does get you bags, right? Those necklaces are a little bit wasted because you're going to get too many of them, but that's okay. So 14.3 is going to be the one that I primarily farm, but very rarely will I farm this, only when I absolutely need bags or I know there's a student coming up where I need to gear them up, maybe like Natsu and a few others. Let's switch on over and talk about just quickly the Eliphs you want to farm on this triple event. So looking at our hard here, general TLTR is all the 3 stars you can get from hard missions, whether it be Iori, whether it be Haruna, Hoshino, not Hifumi, or Shiroko. You're gonna want to focus on those getting the 3-star, getting those either unlocked or to 5-star. You're not gonna want to overly farm those ones after 5-star because their unique equipments are not that great. Haruna's you can make a case for, considering it gives her more HP for PvP, but your priority is going to be able to get all these either unlocked or to 5-star, with your priority being Haruna first, assuming where you are in the game, and then your second one being Iori, right? If you're that far and you still don't have an Iori. Now, the one I would farm if I'm a late game player, you say you have all the 3 stars, they're mostly 5-star, right? The 2 I would farm pretty much are Mutsuki. I would farm this pretty aggressively to the point that I would almost refresh your energy. And then the other one I would farm would be all 3 nodes of Serika. So Mutsuki and Serika are just great all around. You use them all the time. They're just great, consistent damage. And their unique equipments are very, very, very good. They just get better and better over time. And they're not like the all-star damage units that you're going to bring in. They're not going to like blow out of the water like an Azusa or some other units that just do a ton of damage. But they do a ton of damage, especially Mitsuki. You can do it if you do the bomb strat. So her unique equipment is also very, very good. There's no one else I would really farm past those 2, except if you're really just trying to round out a lot of your other students and you're trying to get them up to 3-star, 4-star, or whatever. You don't really need to get Pina. You really don't need to get Akari. You really don't need a lot of these depending on what students you have. Now, I will say, make sure you look at your roster, right? So if you're missing a lot of Mystic, maybe it is worth farming some of these Mystics to at least get them the 3-star, right? Because they're pretty useless before they unlock all their abilities. But it really depends on where you are in the game. And that's really just my refresher course. So always look at the students you have. Look at the quantity you have, right? So I'm not going to farm Iori. I'm probably not going to farm Haruna. I'll probably farm a little bit in Shiroko, right? Like I've almost got her to 5-star, right? That would be really good. But then you want to farm on those other ones I was talking about, right? My Serika's already 5-star. So being able to get her unique equipment on day 1 when they are coming out is going to be very, very good. So that's all I have for a refresher course. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys on the next video. And I do appreciate your love and support. I do appreciate your love and support. Peace out. Fist bump from me to you.